Okay, so now here we are in green. So, is there anything here I want to get rid of? Recross the Paths. I used to use that a lot in Sigarda and in 2 other decks, and then it just started coming out. I got rid of 2 of the copies that I had. I kept 1 because I like the art. I just think it's cool. Primordial Sage. That's another card that should go into Ikirshidiki Starkondo. Is that better than Twilight Prophet? So, Primordial Sage is 4 double green for 4/5. Whenever I play a creature spell, I may draw a card. Twilight Prophet is 2 double black for 2/4 flying. And if I have the City's Blessing, I show off the top card of my library and put it in my hand. And each opponent loses X life and I gain X life, for that's the card's mana value. Which, the life gain and the fact that I'm drawing cards is pretty good. That's kind of what Ikirshidiki and Starkondo want to do. So, I'll think about that. I'll remember that I have it. So, looking for open slots. They don't do art like that anymore. They don't. But they should, because I guarantee 90% of the players are straight guys, and we appreciate art like that. But Wizards has gone woke, and they don't do art like that anymore. Son of a bitch. Sylvan Paradise. Remember when that fucking... Oh, what the hell is his name? Whenever you target your dudes, you get some triggers and some bullshit. That card got kind of expensive, and I could have sold it into the hype, but I didn't because I like the art. I like the art, and I like the fact that I have one. It's just really pretty. So that's why I never sold it. And now, since that guy has been banned, whatever the fuck his name was, there's probably no real demand for the card anymore. Got a channel. Kashi Tray. I just like her. I should get a foil one though. I wonder how much a foil one would cost. So what does she do? 3 green, 3/2. When she hits a player, tap. When she hits a creature, tap that creature and doesn't tap during control this next and taps that, and she's got regenerate. She's just. I love Anthony Waters' art. It's just so wild, and his use of color and his line work, I just like looking at it. I'm going to take her out just so I remember to try to find a foil one, because a foil would be prettier, and I'm sure it's not worth a goddamn. So the Messenger, Stalking Tiger, again, that's only here because it's foil, and it's Therese Nielsen's a pretty tiger. 3 into green for 2/2 elf with trample. When she hits play, show off the top 4 cards from the library, put all elf cards revealed this way into my... I forgot about her. I forgot that I had her when I was doing Tivar. I need to look at Tivar's list and see if there's something that would be... If I have a similar effect that is less efficient, or she'd be better because she has trample, then I need to consider that. Call of the Claw. This is a situational card. This is highly situational. So it has flash. 2 and a green for a 2/2 elf. When it hits play, you get a 2/2 bear for every creature that died, non-token creature that died on your side this turn. So the idea was, I would have this in my hand, and if somebody cast a border wipe and killed all my elves, I would flash Collar of the Claw. This motherfucker, this chick, I would flash her ass into play, and I would rebuild my board with the 2/2 bears. That was the idea. And now I've got, oh, what the hell is it? It's a black enchantment, 1 and a black. Whenever a non-token creature control dies, you get a 1/1 elf. So I've got that instead. Maybe I should put Collar of the Claw in order to supplement that. That's an idea. The thing is, the deck list for Tivar is pretty tight. Tivoli really doesn't have a lot of space to move things around. That's why Sylvan Messenger isn't in there. I probably considered her when I was building the deck and forgot that I'd been considering her and put something else. But I'll review the deck list and see if maybe there's something she would be better than. She's still an elf, so that's good. Force Mage Advocate, this goes into Animar and it comes out of Animar, goes in, out. 1 and a green for 2/1 Centaur. Tap him, return target creature in an opponent's graveyard to their hand. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So the idea was my opponent would have some bullshit I don't care about, like a fetch land, especially the ones that come into play tapped, like Evolving Wilds. Give them their Evolving Wilds back and put a +1/+1 counter on Animar. And he comes down fast, and he's got 2/1 power. So, but Animar just didn't need him. Grounds Heal, cards and graveyards can be. I just had that because of the art. Situational card, but I have it in case the situation ever comes up. Enchantress Presence. Be really nice to have a foil one of those, but those are expensive. They're like 30 euros, and it all adds up. Even if your deck is nothing but 1 and 2 euro cards, if you're building a modern deck, so 40, maybe 38, 1 or 2 euro, you're looking at 64 euros, and that's just for the, that's not counting your mana base, your special lands, that's not counting anything good. So, we could talk all day about this is only 20 euro cents, this is only 1 euro, a foil is 30 euros, but over the aggregate, oh man, this game gets expensive. Elder of Laurels, 3 and green, target creature gets +X/+X till end of turn, where that's the number of creatures you control. He's always on the cusp of going into a deck. Always on, just almost there. But I find something better. I'm sure eventually I will have a deck where that's not the case, and I shove him in because I've got a lot of tokens, and I give one creature, +20/+20 for 4 mana. That would be pretty cool. Remnant Excavator. So the Excavator here, he's a Crucible of Worlds on legs. And the thing is, I have all these commander decks, and they all have their own flavor, they all have the thing they do, and they all have a hard limit of 100 cards, minus the commander, 99 cards, minus 37 lands, which is typically what I play, 36, 37. It runs, I've got a couple decks at 38. I think Tivar is the only deck at 36. Everybody else is 37, so that's 62 slots. I only have 62 slots for everything else. So something has to give. Something is not going in. I've got a Jam and Fast Bond. If that ever gets unbanned, then I have some decisions to make. Alright, look, open slots. So, I'm pretty sure I have another green slime, so I'll just set that aside. Pretty sure I have all of these, actually. Exploration. I probably don't have another one of those in this binder, but I want to put it next to the Burgeoning. So, Ruinous Intrusion, although I do want to put it as a centerpiece. And I do want to put one in. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I got this guy recently. You might have seen the mail call. I got this guy just for the memories. Even though he's not that bad when you think about it, but again, 62 slots. You can't shove everything in. 4 double green for a 5/5. 2 and a green to regenerate his ass. And when he deals combat damage, he can deal it to defending players though he weren't blocked. So it doesn't matter if you block or not. He can punch you in the head anyway. So I'm really happy I've got a near mint in one of those. I had one that was all beat to shit. And I liked hard, but I wanted it in good condition. I bet I have all this other stuff already in the binder. So as we go on, we'll see. There's Paradise Druid. I don't know, maybe Maybe she would be if Tivar. If I need more mana elves, I could put her in because she doesn't really cost. She doesn't cost much. 1 and a green. Add 1 mana of any color, so I get the black or the green. 62 slots. And I just gave Tivar Birchlore Rangers. So Devoted Druid, I got her for Tivar because I thought she would combo pretty good. But it's a slow combo. Excuse me. So Tivar typically puts 1 set of +1/+1 counters on my creatures whenever I go to combat. If I've got the cards that the other cards that allow me to do that. So I can only get the green, double green, maybe 3 green once every couple turns. So I took her out, but she is a very interesting card, so I definitely kept the copy that I got. Oh, there's the other Paradise Druid, the original one. Nature's Wrath. So I get that a lot of you are newer players, and you don't. So this is something I've said before. All of you, you tell me about the new cards I don't know about. Whenever we get the discussions going in the comments, and somebody talks about some new card, like there's been a couple decks that I've done, and I couldn't really get them going. And dude looks at it and he's like, "Yeah, here's about 20 cards you just don't know about that would be good for your deck." And at least half of them I don't know about at all. I never heard of them. Because the new sets are coming so fast and furiously, I can't fucking keep track, and I just gave up. I'm not keeping track of this shit. But the old cards, that's where I help you lads. I tell you about the old cards, because I know them. 4 double green. During upkeep, pay 1 green, or bury it. Sacrifice it. Whenever a player puts a swamp or black permanent in play, he or she sacrifices a swamp or black or blue. So if you're playing a green deck, if you're playing a deck with green that doesn't have black or blue in it, if you're playing any kind of red, green, white, green, white, green, black, or sorry, green, red, anything like that, anything of that black or blue, and your opponents are playing a lot of black or blue, if you put this in there and you get it out, oh, they're going to cry. Because they can't put anything into play without getting rid of something. So, and if you are really dirty, you can do things to give them tokens, black tokens, and when they come into play, they have to sacrifice permanents. I can't think of any cards offhand that do that, but I know there are cards that do that. And it's any player. So even if you do like Xancha, she comes into play on your side, she's a black permanent, you have to sacrifice because it's his player, not opponent. But that's something interesting, something you lads might want to think about if you're playing green and blue and black is screwing with you. Tribal Force Mage, whenever he's flipped over, creatures you control at the type of your choice get +2/+2 and trample. I just think he's cool. He's like, "Come to me, my little buggy bugs. We're going to war." And the little buggy bugs say, "Yeah, boss. That's a great fucking idea." Some shit like that. These, so you might notice as we go through, I have Japanese Mystic Archive, and right next to it I have the English Mystic Archive, because I will forget what the Japanese one is. This one, that's pretty easy. Harmonize is pretty easy to remember. It looks like Harmonize. The casting cost, I know what that is, so I don't need the English. But this one, I'll forget what that is for sure. I will fucking forget. I know. So I need the English one to remind me. So they can't come out of the binder individually. Excuse me. What have I got over here? So I've got Eladamir, Lord of Leaves. That could be in Tivar, but he's not, because I want to target my elves with, oh, who the hell is he? The rebel. The elf Azuri. I've got Azuri in there, and Azuri says, pay 1 green, regenerate other target elf. Auditing rate says, sorry, that motherfucker's going to die. Nothing I can do about that. So that's why Auditing rate's not in here. I do have his vineyards. So this came out of the Sheldon Maneri Secret Lair. This is the set from Tempest. This, I just like it. There's just something in the card that's really satisfying. It's basically a green Sedge Troll. So there's Sedge Troll, which is red, gets +1/+1 as long as you have a swamp, and for 1 black you can regenerate it. So this is just a color shifted one, and I think it's cool. Words of Wilding. So that's a kind of a combo piece. I've used it before, but I've kind of gone away from combo. So it's just sitting here for the next time I need it. This is just pretty. I just really like the art. It's got no financial value. I'm not even really going to look at what it does because I don't care. I know it doesn't do anything I really want to do. I just like the art a lot. I think that's really pretty. Same with Creeping Mold. Creeping Mold is good. Creeping Mold used to be played heavily, but it's not anymore. Because power creep, there's just instant ways to do that. Croson Grip costs 2 and a green, and it's an instant speed. So Creeping Mold, unless you need a lot of those effects, you're not going to play it. But it's really pretty. I love the way the mold is creeping up the marble. That's just the color and the way it looks. I just like it. So what do I have here? We've got a Guy's Avenger. This is one of the stupidest cards I ever bought into, because I bought into hype. So early on in the COVID bullshit, all these reserve list cards are going up, and Guy's Avenger was kind of low, so I bought 3 of them. And of course, it has no real playability, obviously, because it's not in a goddamn deck. This is the only copy I have left. And after a while, when it did nothing, after a year or two, I sold the other ones at a bit of a loss, but I kept the signed one. I kept my thrashed signed one to remind me that FOMO is bullshit. Don't do it. So I've got a green slime over here, meaning the green slime in this pile I can put in the trade binder. Descendant's Path. This is another card that should go into a tribal deck. It's just not, because again, 62. But it's so pretty. There's a new version of Descendant's Path. I think it's from Ixalan. I really like that. I would like to have that too for the art. But I've started to slow down heavily on buying cards just for the art, because I've got so goddamn many, and it's just choking the binder. So I'm going to not do that as much. I will still do it. I know me. Greater Good. That used to be in Carador. Yes, I have 2 Survival of the Fittest that are not in decks. Yeah. I don't know why either. I just don't. Obviously, one of them should be in a deck. I think I've got one in Edric. I can't remember why I took the other one out. I think the deck was just too powerful. So I tried to de-water it a bit, make it so it wasn't as oppressive. So I took out Survival of the Fittest. Genesis, I do have an original foil Genesis in, I believe, NMR. And then this guy, oh fuck this guy. 2 double green, 4/4. Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste. Can't be blocked by creature's power 2 or less. Combat damage that we dealt by creature's control can't be prevented. Whenever he deals combat damage to a motherfucker, it deals that much damage to target planeswalker that motherfucker controls. He's not in a deck. This is the only one I have. This is the only one I have. It's not in a deck. Why? I don't know. Because it doesn't really go anywhere. The type is Beast. So if I had a legendary deck, like a Joda deck, he'd be really good. But I don't. If I had a Beast deck, obviously he would go in. In fact, he could be the commander of a Beast deck. I don't have a mono green deck. Huh. But anyway, he's such a good creature, but he just doesn't quite fit any of the decks I have. Although he could be the commander of his own deck. Now that I think about it. Huh. I wonder if this guy's a beast. This artifact rapist. So Floral Spasm, if he attacks an opponent and is not blocked, then he can do that to one of your opponent's artifacts. Dirty little bastard, isn't he? And he's even called a Spasm. Legends. It was a wild set. It had high power shit and then low power shit, especially by today's standards. Back then, 4 mana, 4 colorless, 1 black, 1 blue for Princess Lucretia, which is a 6. No, not Princess Lucretia. I forget her name, but she was a 6/4. She was a craw worm. 6 mana for a black blue craw, and we played them because we didn't have a lot of better options. That's how wild it was. Okay, so here's a bunch of other stuff. I played him. I had him in a deck, and it just didn't quite work. Whenever he attacks a player who has 8 or more lands, I look at the top 8 cards of my library and can put a creature card from those 8 onto the battlefield tapped and attacking that player, and the rest go on the bottom. It just, because he's a 3/3, it just didn't quite get there, plus waiting for 8 lands. So, he's still cute. He's still really cute, so I kept him. Let's see. Yeah, I've got 2 rankers in here because they're from different sets. So what I let myself do is have duplicates of cards if they're from different sets. And yes, they have the same goddamn art. But the foil treatment is different enough. So this is darker. I don't know if you can see it, but this is a lighter coloration, less saturation. This one is darker. It's more saturated. So I keep them. Let's see, what else have I got? Do I have any more slots? I don't really have anything else to put in those slots, because I'm pretty sure I have all those cards anyway. Moment's Peace, Big Monkey. Maybe I should take out Big Monkey, put him up for trade, because I kind of like to have a foil one. And he can't be worth that much. Yeah, let's put Big Monkey up for trade. Guy's Blessing, Blesser to Sprite. Blessers, they kind of go together. Target player shuffles their graveyard and library, shuffles up to 3 cards into the library, draw a card, and fog. So, similar, but same, but different. This is cool. Instant speed. You shuffle 2 target cards from your graveyard into the library with flashback. So somebody's going to exile your graveyard and you've got some shit you need to get back. You can bring it back into your library where it's safe at instant speed. Speaking of old cards, 2 double green. Whenever permanent becomes tapped, put a win counter on it. Permanents with win counters on them do not untap during the controller's untap step. Instead, they lose the win count. There are some different effects like this. Temporal Distortion is similar to this, but this one is in green. Cycle of Life. Yeah, you bounce it back to your hand, and you make a creature that came into play under your control this turn, that you cast this turn, a 0/1. And then at the beginning of your next upkeep, it gets a plus and plus. It's absolute fucking trash. But it's cool, the art, by Chippy. So I keep that for the art. Same with this guy. Whenever a player successfully casts an enchantment spell that targets him, you draw a card. Well, how often is that going to happen? Unless you're the one doing it, it ain't going to happen that often because your opponent's going. He's only a 3/2. What am I going to do? Pacify him? He's fuck. So they're not going to target him. You're not going to get cards. But it's Quentin Hoover, so the art is beautiful. Phosphorescent Feast. I just think that's cool. I like the art, the Mushroom Queen. sitting among her spores, enjoying life and avoiding chores. So what am I looking at putting away? So this I want to go into a centerpiece. Exploration, I'm waiting to see my burgeoning, so I can put the exploration next to the burgeoning. Skyshot Claim, Reclamate, all these cards, all these other cards. This needs to go into a deck. I need to put that over there. All these I am damn sure I already have in this binder somewhere. So I'm just waiting to see them to make sure. This guy was an Ikrishidiki Sarakondo, and he just wasn't quite getting there anymore. He's still like a 10-euro foil though, so not worth really getting rid of because I might want to use him again. What about over here? What do I have over here? Brutalizer Exarch. This guy, he goes into NMR, he comes out of NMR. He goes into NMR, he comes out of NMR. Because NMR with his cost reduction makes this guy into a 1 green and 2 color, you know, reduces his price a lot. And then he's either a worldly tutor or he puts something I don't want to deal with. Any non-creature permanent, planeswalker, enchantment, artifact, it doesn't matter. He comes into play and puts it at the bottom of Dude's library. So I keep him because if I ever need another one of those effects in NMR, I know where to go. Compost, I've got 2 different composts for the art. It's not as predictable. So some of you might have predictable pods where you kind of know what this guy always plays a black deck, this guy always plays some kind of blue or white deck. In my group, it's, although if Pete comes, Pete always plays Sidar Jabari, the Knight Eminence dude. So he's always, at some point, putting black cards into his graveyard. So I draw cards off Pete, but Pete doesn't always come. Anything here with him? This is really funky art. This Dawnhard Mentor. I don't even really remember what she does. I just like the art. I just know that whatever she do, what does she do? Comes into play, you get a 1/1/1 human creature. Okay, great. 5 and a green, 6 mana. Target creature gets +3/+3 and trample until end of turn. Only if you control 3 or more creatures. So I'm not going to play that. I've got no reason to play that, but I like the art. Root Rider Fawn, same thing. I think she looks really funny. She looks really whimsical. It's just happy art. That's what we'll call it. The art makes me happy when I see it, so that's why she still has a place. Secret Tribe Elder, Root Claw. Got a revelation here. All players play with the cards in their hand face up on the table. So you always know what your opponents have in their hand. Over here, again, a bunch of different cards. Satina. So I got it. When I bought Satina for Omnath, I went ahead and got an extra one because she looked really interesting to me. 2 and a green for a 2/2. When she comes into play, go find a basic land, put it in play, tapped, and shuffle. And then whenever she attacks, I can bounce a land I control to my hand, and then put a +1/+1 on target creature. So, during your first main, you can tap, cast some stuff, do some stuff, and then when you attack, when she attacks, you can bounce one of those lands back to your hand, and if you don't have another land, you can replay it fresh and untapped during your second main phase. Sumberwald Sage. She was an NMR for a while too. 3 mana of any one color, only for creature spells. Natural Order. That should probably go into a deck. Scouting Trek, I just really like the art. Searching my library for any number of basic land cards and putting them back on top in any order. So, if you've got a way of getting basic lands off the top of your deck, but this is only once per turn, then maybe that could be pretty good. Maybe that would be. So this is going to have a second part, I can see that. This is a longer one, green, because I've got more green. This here, so this is the Japanese regrowth, that I would forget what it is, because it really doesn't say regrowth to me that much. It could be some fine land spell. Revised, and then the English regrowth, Winter Blast. Foglio is one of my other favorite artists. X target creatures become tapped. Winter Blast does 2 damage each creature that is flying. In some decks that could be good. In some decks that could be really good. Still haven't found the cards I was looking for to see if I have them. I've got a foil Fecundity and I've got a non-foil. I've got a flat one. Because I keep thinking I'm going to want to put those in decks, and I keep not doing it. Loaming Shaman. Comes into play, target player shovels any number of target cards from their graveyard into library. So that could be you. That could be the dude playing some kind of graveyard deck. You know, whatever you have going on. This guy, I got this guy, and I didn't really understand him that well. So, 1 green for a 2/2. Beginning your upkeep, bounce another creature controlled to its owner's hand. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on Mistbreath Elder. Otherwise, you may return Mistbreath Elder to its owner's hand. So, either way, you're going to bounce a creature back to your hand every turn. And I forget exactly what I was thinking of, but I had him in Edric for about an hour. And then I read it and I thought about it in context with Edric, and I thought, yeah, this is not really going to work that well. When Sylvan Hierophant is put into any graveyard from play, exile it, then return a creature from your graveyard to your hand. So this is for the art, definitely. This is a racist card, for some fucking stupid reason. It's a shitty card, and if they hadn't made a big kerfluffle over it about 4 or 5 years ago when they did this racist card bullshit, which they haven't revised and gone back to in any way, shape, or form. You've got a card of fucking Garruk grabbing Liliana by the throat, looking like he's going to have his way with her, and that's fine. Nobody says anything about that at Wizards. But Prentice Gypsies. That's racist. Yeah, no, fuck you. So it looks like green is going longer than black, which makes sense because I've got a lot more green cards than I do black. So I got my Ignoble Hierarch, which, I don't know, does he have any value? Is there any point in putting him in our trade binder? I could put him in Corva, but I don't know, I just keep him in case I do. Is this a foil one, even? I can't remember. I think it's flat. Yep, it's a flat version. Says he's got no home. I don't know, I'll look at that. Maybe I'll put him in the trade binder. Luring Scent, choose any one creature this turn. All creatures able to block it do so. It's just Melissa Benson, really relaxing art. Really like it. What else have I got? Spike Weaver. Comes into play with 3+1/+1 encounters on it. 2, take off one of those counters, put it onto another creature. 1, take off one of those counters, and fog. So he's a fog on legs. If you need that effect, you can't go wrong with him. So what I've got here. Glimpse of Nature. It's been in decks. It comes out of decks. I keep it in case I ever build the True Lane, Teller of Tales. If I build that, it's going to be just an asshole deck, but it'll have Glimpse of Nature. That's for goddamn sure. What do I have over here? I've got a Taunting Elf. Liege of Hollows. Whenever she dies, each player may pay any amount of mana to put that number of scroll tokens to play under their control. 1/1 creatures. I got this for Kestia, and I just don't use it. So Or did I get it for the Hydra deck? I can't remember. Anyway, I don't use it. This. Oh, the art is beautiful. Look at that. But what does it do? 1 double green enchantment. 2. Exile a card in your hand from the game. Return target card from graveyard to hand. If it shares a type with the card, remove this way. And of course it's missing Planeswalker because it's an old card. But it tells you the card types at the time. And now of course there's Battle and Tribal. So back then there were only 6 card types. Now there's 9. Is Battle a card type? I don't know. I don't play that bullshit. She's an elf. 3 double green. All green creatures go +1/+1. I had her in T-Var, but I tried to reduce the overall CMC of the deck, so I took her out. Maybe I should think about putting her back in. Because I do like the card. I like the card a lot. Fond memories of playing that card. I used to play Kesa in a lot of different green decks. What do I have here? So, another Titania. Yeah, Vitalize, untap all creatures you control. Okay, here's some more Japanese and English. So, Snakeskin Veil. Corrosion Grip going down this way. Well, it's a bit off because I put the Hound Tamer here. That's a flat one though. So I could trade the flat one and I could put the foil one, and it might sound odd that I have an extra Corrosion Verge at all, but I do, because I started using different things like Beast Within, Stroke of Midnight. This just is, it's kind of weird that I did it like that. Although it does make sense as far as these coming together. So Japanese English, and then this as an outlier. What do I have over here? I've got a Sylvan Tutor. Not doing anything, but it is pretty. Jade Avenger, Sunball Dryad, 2/2 Forest Walker. So she's not an Edric because she's a 2/2. And Tetsuo deals with creatures with power or toughness 1. So if she was a 2/1, she would be an Edric, but she's not, so I took her out. This guy would be much better if you put the basic land into play, wouldn't he? But he puts it in your hand, so he just hangs out in the binder. Essence Filter, destroy all enchantments or destroy all non-white enchantments. Think about it. Worldly Tutor extra, so that means that I've got a Worldly Tutor without a home. So, since I'm not playing it, and it is an in-demand card, let's see which one is in better condition. They're both pretty much near mint. This one has kind of some almost bend on it. Almost. It's just a faint impression, and then these little bits here. So I'll put that up for trade. I'm sure somebody will want it. Yiji was asking me if I had an extra one a few weeks ago anyway, and at the time I didn't because I had it in the deck. What else have I got? I don't remember his name or what he does. I know that's some kind of Vivian. I don't remember what it does. I just had them for the art. Let's see. So I've got French Couture, Poti de Kudama. So on another page, I also have the English ones, but I keep the French ones because I just like it. So what I can do is put some more French search cards here, if I have them. Oh yeah, the Ringheart Crest. So I've got the 2 different versions of it. mainly because I like the two different versions of Kolvori. So I've got the original Kolvori, and she looks really cool, just hanging out in her zoo. And this one looks like she's going to war. She's got a big ass serpent. The wolf is charging. The bear, whatever the fuck that is charging. She's going to kill somebody. And she, like, yeah, I'm just hanging out in my zoo, just chilling. So do I have a French? Yeah. Sky Shard Claim, All Francais, so we'll put that there. I don't use Sky Shard Claim as much as I used to. That used to be a card that almost everybody played. But not anymore. Do I even want this anymore? So you go 3 and a green. Go find 2 basic lands, put them into play tapped, and then shuffle. I guess it's possible to play it again. I mean, oh, Kenny would be good because Kenny has so many basic lands. So, 4 Francais. Then here, so I used to have a Bant 4 Swords deck with Troll Ascetics and Worship. And it worked for a while. And then all the creatures that have the Shroud or Hexproof that I was playing proved to be too slow. So the deck was just a turn or 2 slower than it had to be. So I took it apart, but I kept one Troll Ascetic because I'm sure he'll be useful someday. Moss Monster. That's just fucking weird. But he's a cool weird. Yes, bring me force. Cool sophistication. What have I got over here? Okay, here's more search cards. So there's the English Sky Shard Claim. There's the different arts Sky Shard Claim. Seek the Horizon, same thing, different arts. Harrow, Guy's Bounty. So this is all land search page. So it's a land search page. Let's see, so I've got one of those, so I could take that out. If it's not in a deck, I don't need to choke my binder with it. Same with the Guy's Bounty, I've got one right there. Well, this one is a bit darker. Do I want the darker one or the lighter one? I think I want the darker one. Let me take this out so you can get a better look at what I'm talking about, because I'm not sure how much of this is coming up on the camera. So if you look at them side by side, you can see that this Guy's Bounty is printed a bit, the colors are a bit richer. This one, they're a bit more faded. But it's financially worthless, so maybe I want to keep both. But you go find 2 forest cards. So they can be basic forest. They can be shocklands, triomes. 2 forest cards, but you put them into your hand. You don't get to put them into play yet. Sky Shard Clam. Okay, I've got one. I've got one there. So the other 2, obviously, I'm not using them. Go search a library for 2 force, put them into play. So, Guy's Bounty costs 2 and a green, and the 2 force go into your hand. Sky Shard Claim costs 3 and a green, 1 more mana, just 1, and the 2 force come into play untapped. So it depends on how critical that 1 bit of mana is for you. Okay, so Yamama's Reach, Cultivate, this should be another Yamama's Reach. I had one somewhere. So I'll put my other Yamama's Reach when I find it. 2 Nature's Lures. I don't have any extra 3 visits. I would like to get a Portal 3 Kingdoms one, but I just haven't. So what have I got here? I've got Balduvian Bears, and I've got a Bear Cub. Hull of Gemstone. Remember, Nature's Will, playing mono green, Hull of Gemstone, 1 double green. During everybody's upkeep, they choose a color. Until end of turn, each mana-producing land produces mana of the chosen color instead of its normal. So, if you're playing mono green, and you drop that shit, and somebody's playing a 3 or 4 color deck, 5 color deck, they're not going to like you. They're not going to like you at all until they can get rid of it. Went ahead, Downstrider. So 1 green tap, throw away card from your hand, and fog. So she's good. I just don't really have a place for her. What do I have over here that I don't have a place for? Lotus Cobra. I've got a Lotus Cobra in a deck. Lone Speaker. I just have it for the art. Edwin Manaveni. He's 1/3 though, so he's got a pretty high toughness. Something to think about. Keswick Cage Breakers. This used to be in Edric because my creatures kept getting killed. So I would build up a decent graveyard and then attack with him, and I've got a bunch of 2/2 wolves that are attacking. But I updated the deck, so it no longer does it. Remember the Somberwold Dryad? So here's Rushwood Dryad. She's a 2/1 Forest Walk. Somberwold is the 2/2 Forest Walk. But she's not an Edric because there are other options. Power creep. But it's a really neat card. I really like the way it looks. Same with Regent Spirit. Tap, target creature loses flying until end of turn. Big deal. Seed Time. Play Seed Time only during your turn. Take a next turn after this one if the opponent played a blue spell. So if you're playing in a pod where people counterspell shit and they like to cast blue instants, Seed Time is good for you. And the flat one, it's financially worthless, I think. What have I got here? I've got a couple of Balos. I've got an Elvish Piper, Hunting Moa. Hunting Moa used to be an Animar. Comes into play or dies. Put a +1/+1 counter target creature with Echo. So that would come into play, give Animar counter. Either block and die, or upkeep and die, and put another counter on Animar. But different options now. Have an extra Beast Whisperer. We've got some Kitty Warriors. 1 double green for 2/2 force. They're just cool looking. They look badass. They're gonna fuck somebody up. Cartographer comes into play. Return a land card from graveyard to your hand. This is another card that just got power crept out. There are just better options. There are just better ways to do this now. That's the way it is. But Donata Giancola, oh man, his art is gorgeous. Look at the maps flowing around her. Look at the map in the background. Oh man, that's just perfect. Pixie Queen, another beautiful card. Quentin Hoover. Village Elder, another Donato Giancola. 1 green, sack forest, regenerate target creature. Color of the Hunt, another card I just like for the art. It comes into play to the creature type. Her power and toughness are equal to the number of creatures in play of the chosen type. So you're playing some kind of tribal deck, and you just want this cool archer chick, then why not? But if you're playing a tribal deck, you probably have better tribal options. Because she doesn't take the creature type. I don't know what her creature type is. I'm sure she's human something. I should look that up. But I'm sure she's not anything relevant like elf. Okay, Reclamation Sage. So I do have an extra Reclamation Sage. So the one here I can put up for trade. Same with Tempt with Discovery. And actually, see, I was wrong. There is a different Reclamation Sage. So the original one, the set one from whatever Ravnica it came out in, I just don't like it. It just doesn't do anything for me. These two are cool though. I like the way those look. I should get a foil one of her though. I just haven't. Ambush Wolf, this can go into Voya, but it hasn't. If I face more graveyard decks where I want to deal with that, need to deal with it, then that'll become more important. Sentinel Hierophants, each creature control can tap for 1 green. 3 into green for a 3/2 Druid. Not that great. But interesting. It's one of those cards that's interesting enough that even though the art is kind of there, it doesn't really call to me, it doesn't really speak to me. The fact that it has that ability, that has potential somewhere, so it's worth keeping. Melira. So I can't get poison counters. Creatures I control cannot have -1/-1 counters placed on them. Creatures in my opponent's control lose infect. I have her just in case I have a deck that needs her. If Cube starts playing more poison, because he likes being a poisonous little dude. Heartbreed of Spring is basically mana flare for green. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, they add another mana of that type. Llanowar Vanguard. It's another card I just have for the art. It's just an evasion foil. Okay, so I can tap it and it becomes a 1/5. Oh, fucking great. Big deal. I have to tap it to do it. And it doesn't have vigilance. If it had vigilance, that would be more interesting. But it doesn't, so it's not. What do I have here? Anything here I want to put up for trade? Quentin Hoover, Elder Druid. I try to make this guy work. 3 and a green, 2/2. Elf. He's an elf now. 3 and a green, tap. Tap or untap target artifact, creature, or land. But it's just too slow. He was even too slow in Ice Age. Helen Gale. 1 damage each creature flying in each player, and you can flash it back for 1 and a green. But the art's just beautiful. I just like it. Larry McDougall here. He's one of my favorite newer artists. Him and Omar Rayan. I love their art. Nothing there I really want to get rid of. Yes, Sapling Infestation. Whenever a player pays a kicker cost, you may put a 1/1 green sapling creature token in play. I'm not really playing any kicker. I just have it because I got it somewhere. I picked it up. And the art is interesting enough that I kept it. And obviously it was in a Pro Tour because it has the promotional tour stamp. The card itself is just like, yeah, who gives a shit? But the art, it's pretty cool. So I could stay in the binder. What else have we got? Oh, we've got Tower Defense. Creatures go get +0/+5 reach till in the turn. That's great if you're running any kind of small creature decks, token decks. Somebody casts, I don't know, an Earthquake for 3, and you're like, ha ha, motherfucker, my creatures get bigger. Guardian Project, Lone Dweller. I just kept it from the breakup of Carador. Financially worthless, and the art is very interesting to me. Obscuring Ether, face down creatures, spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. I can turn Obscuring Ether face down and make it a 2/2 creature. Financially worthless, so. And it's interesting enough. Maybe it has potential. Maybe. Oh, I've got 2 Rapid Vigors right next. What the hell am I doing? Rapid Vigor. Regenerate each creature you control. I used to use this a lot. That's why I have multiple copies. But I just don't because there's Heroic Intervention now. So which one is in better condition? This one is in slightly better condition from the front. But not the back. Okay, so I'll keep this one. And I'll put one up for trade. Am I done with green yet? No. When do I see the... Oh, there it is. So I've only got a couple more pages. So, Hydras and bullshit. Storm the Seed Core. 2 green sorcery. Distribute 4 +1/+1 encounters among up to 4 target creatures you control, and they gain vigilance and trample till end of turn. Another card with potential. Duck Shell Crawler. So the Duck Shell Crawler here, when he comes to play, put a +1/+1 encounter target creature. Each creature controls a +1/+1 encounter on it as trample. I've got decks that can use that, but there's other things that the deck has. So this is kind of in reserve. And this is one of those cards that I don't know if it's going to get power creeped into irrelevancy before I play it. That is possible. Some of these cards you're looking at, by the time I go to play them, power creep will make them irrelevant. There will be a better option. There will be a 1 mana 2/2 that each creature you control is +1/+, and counter as trample. Some shit like that. Fucking wizards and their power creep. They need to reset the game. They need to reset the game like they did after Mirrodin with Kamigawa. They need to have a set where they rein in power creep. They make an intentionally weaker set. They don't have to make it weak the way Kamigawa was weak in compared to Mirrodin, but they have to have no power creep and, in fact, subtly step back in power. They need a couple sets where they subtly step back in power to reset players' expectations. And these universes beyond shit would be perfect. They can step back the power of universes beyond, and the players that are coming into the game because of that franchise, that are not sticking around to play Magic because they don't give a shit about the game, they only care about the franchise of whatever it is that Wizards is pushing, i.e. Spider-Man, Star Trek is coming. Fucking Star Trek. Can you believe that shit? So they can step back. And then the Magic players, the people that stay for the game, people like you and I, we, playing Commander, EDH, still have this incredibly rich pool of cards to draw from. So if we don't get power creep for a few sets, if it steps back for a few sets, that doesn't really affect us at all, because they will still give us new stuff. But we don't need the power creep. In fact, it has to slow down. It has to retract, or it's going to wreck the game. Speaking of wrecking the game, Elvisher Grower, when he comes into play, you can return a permanent card from graveyard to your hand for the low cost of 2 double green for a 4/3 elf. So this is the kind of thing that's good. So they step back. Eternal Witness costs double green and 1. And she comes into play and you return any creature, any card from graveyard to your hand. Any card. He only says permanent. So this is a good... and Timeless Witness, she costs the same, but she's a 2/1. So this is a good example. The effect has stepped back in power. The creature has higher power and toughness, but the effect that people are playing it for, that's not as good as Timeless Witness. That's not as good as Eternal Witness. So maybe they are thinking about it a bit. Probably not. Tranquil Grove. It's an enchantment. 1 double green, destroy all other enchantments. Screw you guys, I'm going home. Okay, so I've got an exploration here. I've got an evolution witness here, so I'll put that other exploration, actually, I will flip my green, what the hell is he? The zombie. Double black, 2/2, spend 1 black, exile a card from 1 colorless, exile a card from graveyard. This is basically a green version of that dude, except he has an upside. He gets +4/+4 and trample if 4 or more card types have been exiled by him. But let's flip him that way, and we'll put the exploration. Yeah, I've got an extra. That should be in a deck. That really should. But that's not what I'm doing today. That's not the exercise. The exercise is to put these cards away. That's what I'm trying to accomplish. A bunch of Hydras from when I was going to build a Hydra deck, and then I didn't, because it was starting to get really expensive. And I chose to take Omnath in a different direction. I was going to do Omnath as a big mana deck with Hydras. And I had a lot of other cards that could take him in another direction rather than buying all these Hydras. So some of these Hydras I already owned. A few of them I picked up, like Mana Gorger Hydra. I picked that up for him. But I didn't use it. I should use it. Whenever a player casts a spell, it gets a +1/+1 counter. For 2 and a green, it's a 1/1 trampler, but it gets bigger fast. Got some dust inside the sheet. See if I can extract that. Hopefully that extracted it. So yeah, that's another example of a fantastic card that I should have in a deck, but I just don't. Because I got so many cards. Attempt of Discovery, so I'm going to put this in here somewhere. I took it out of the deck because in some games the lads aren't tempted. So I put in something that's more... I think I took it out of Iker Shidicki's Arakondo, and I gave them a Sylvan Scrying. So Attempt of Discovery, 3 and a green, go find a land, any land, and put it into play. Each opponent can also, if they so choose, if they're tempted, do the same thing, and for each one who does, you get another land. So like I say, you cast this. One dude's like, don't do it! Don't fucking do it! He's going to get some bullshit lands! Another guy who's kind of mana screwed is, well, I kind of need the land, and he's giving me the offer. And then the third guy is usually in the middle. He can go either way. He's not really arsed. But if the guy that needs the land goes and gets the land, usually the third guy would be like, yeah, okay, well, why not? I'll get a land too. And then the fourth is like, oh, fuck you guys. Okay, fine. I'll get a land. And then you get 4 lands. But if I'm playing the lads and they're playing precons, there's really not any lands that they care to get. So a couple times I cast this and they didn't take me on the offer. So I'm like, this isn't working out as well as it used to. So I took it out of Iker Shidicki's Arakondo, and I gave them a Sylvan Scrying, which costs 1 and a green, and gets 1 land and puts in your hand. So it's faster to cast, being 2 instead of 4, but slower to operate. You have to play the land. What else? This is going to be a fucking hour-long video, isn't it? Like a Rudy video. We're halfway through, which means white out. 1 and a green, instant. All creatures with flying lose flying till end of turn. And if it's in your graveyard, you can sacrifice a snow-covered land to return it to your hand. So it's got a bit of a flashback. So, ooh, you know, T-Var has a problem with flyers. I could easily give T-Var a bunch of snow-covered lands, and I could put a whiteout in there. He already has a Gravity Well. I can't remember if I gave T-Var the Gravity Well, I got a foil one, or if I gave it to Voya. Pretty sure I gave it to T-Var. Because for Voya, I really want a Gravity Sphere. Gravity Spheres from Legends, it costs 2 and a red, and it does the same thing. Well, no, it doesn't. It says all flying creatures lose flying. This says whenever it attacks, it loses flying. So otherwise, there's still... You could play a green-red deck with a bunch of kill shit on the ground, have a bunch of flying creatures, and you can have this. I don't know why you do that. And never mind. I don't know why you do that. Let's see. Anything here worth talking about? Look at this bastard. 1 green for a 1/1 trampling elf with kicker 8. If you pay 9 mana for this motherfucker, he's a 6/6 trampler. Would you pay 9 mana for a 6/6 trampling elf? No, you wouldn't. Not these days. No fucking way. Corruption Restorer, untap target land. Threshold, untap up to 3 target lands. Did I take her out of Iker Shidicki's Arakondo already? I can't remember if I took her out or not. If I didn't, then this is an extra copy in my art binder. This guy's cool looking. 2 and a green for a 3/1 trampler that I can regenerate if I have threshold. But he looks cool, and it's by D. Alexander Gregory. Lay of the Land. I was thinking of this in the deck. So 1 green sorcery. Search for a basic land, reveal it, put in your hand, and shuffle. I thought that could be okay for mana search. But then again, Search for Tomorrow is even better, because Search for Tomorrow, you can suspend it, and then you get the land in a few turns. It just depends. Remember what I said when I was doing black about the Kukushos? Well, I've got extra Jugans because I'm not really using Jugan. Vernata, I've got a Vernata in the deck, and I found the place for the Ruinous Intrusion, the extra one. So that will go there. I will force the other one into a deck somewhere. And that concludes green. Rebirth.